Hi, good afternoon. Samantha from facets, and we're joined today by my geese. And I've got the goldfish, but you're not going to see them. The reflection's too bright. And down below here, I actually have a baby turtle in the water. That is joined. I actually saved that baby turtle's life. It almost got hit by a truck, and it's about the size of a $50 over at the hotel. And so I brought it over here, and it's just loving the little pond. So yeah, I got goldfish all around. They all came to say hi. I've got the little swimming bugs, a dragonfly, a blue dragonfly. I've got my geese. They're all here. Yeah, they're all here. Within my, I guess, my little vibration, my snow white aura. And I love them. So this is where I sit. I don't know if you can catch the little goldfish over there. There are a couple of them up there. But yeah, it goes down a little ways. I've been coming here for 3 years. So me and this pond have quite the little history going. It's like it was a bright spot during a very dark time in my life, this pond. And I think during the height of my spiritual warfare, when things were really falling apart but yet falling together, they were even trying to keep me from coming to meditate here, and I was having to go to other places, which was fine. All I need is a hunk of grass or some fresh air to meditate. But it's nice to be back, to be quite honest. I love putting my feet in in the grass and grounding and plopping my butt down, and yeah, I mean, there's nothing quite like it at all. But I love this pond. In a lot of ways, I feel like this pond has saved my life. And of course, it's Mother Gaia, really. I have a very good relationship with her. Even going as far last year, cleaning up around the pond here, because it was very dirty. And I found myself just getting garbage bags and cleaning up all the debris and whatnot from... I did what I could. Oh yeah, the little swimming bug is back. There he is. You see that little guy floating on top there? That little guy's been here. He came up to me when I started, and he hasn't left. I'm hoping to show you the little turtle if he comes back out. But I realize there he is. He's swimming now against the current. I don't know what those are, but that little guy's been with me today, along with the goldfish and the turtle, the geese, and the dragonflies. and the ants. Anyway, I've been sharing my story and my testimony, and my unconventional love story, right? And boy, is it ever unconventional. I mean, how many people can say that they're greeted by a bunch of different animals when they come to the little pond? I can't say it started off like this. The breakthrough started last year. Let's be frank, you know. But before I go into any of that, I'm Samantha from Soul Pathways, and I do cuss. So if you're sensitive to swear words, I'm just letting you know in advance. I don't do much else. I'm pretty boring. You'll want to watch my prior videos, especially the first part of video number 2, if you're wondering why you should watch my videos. I'm an earth angel and the chosen of the 144. I'm anointed, and I'm definitely here to serve a purpose. I just watched a fish jump out of the water. I wish I could have caught that on camera for you. So, part of my purpose here in this lifetime is to share my testimony of my life with the world, and use the skill sets that I have to help others learn how to heal themselves. But not only that, to give hope. It's really simple. I don't look like anything I've been through, and I've said this every video. I mean, this is what you're looking at is an anointing. I'm currently homeless, and I don't look it. I look like somebody who would go home to a nice house, to a nice car, and probably a nice husband and have a good job, and I have none of that in the moment. But that was part of my journey. And I went through some god-awful stuff in my 50 years. I'll be 50 this year. So for the first part of a century, I suffered a lot of things. Then to heal them. Again, I'll just go and say to you, watch videos 2, especially the first end of it, if you want to know the whys, and then all the others, if you're wanting to know more and more about me. But I had my identity stolen, and I think that's where we were. It's tough when you have well, let's just say being spiritually asleep and not knowing it. That sucks. I wasn't even aware people were doing. Oh, look at this. Hold on. There's the little guy I saved. Hey, you're on camera. I love you. I love you, little one. Good luck. on your journey. I wish you well. Bye-bye. Look at that little turtle butt. I love that. Protect him, Mama Gaia. I mean, that's just a baby turtle. And, you know, everything means something. The sheer fact that I crossed this little guy's path and I saved him from being hit by a truck, and I brought him over here and sat him in the water with a bunch of minnows, and then the big fish came along and they're over here, and then I have 2 geese, and it speaks volumes to me. You know, I might be a small little turtle, but I made it. Somebody will help me make it to the big pond. You know, I brought this turtle to safety, right? This turtle almost got smashed by a pickup truck, and he literally was brave enough to let me pick him up without hurting me and bring him over here and set him in the water. You gonna come back? You trying to come back now? Come on. He's trying to swim back. It's a little harder when you gotta swim back. No, he's gotta learn to do it. I was told to let him do it. You're gonna be able to do it. Come on back. You can do it. You can do it. Come on, little guy. Come on. You gonna float halfway out into the water? It's okay if you do. No, I love you. Come visit me, okay? Anyway, you know, the meaning here is basically, with that symbolism, you know, I was being gang stalked, and in a very hard way. I was in a hard way. I mean, I'm homeless. I'm now jobless because I was being so abused at the job I was at. I left it. They destroyed my car. They purposefully breadcrumbed me through my entire income tax through car repairs. They did a bunch of stupid junk to me, and at the end of the day, you know, this little turtle here signifies, like, for me at least, trusting the universe to pick me up and put me somewhere safe, you know. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm allowing, he's way over there now. I'm allowing the universe to do that. I surrender as part of my prayer every day. I've said in prior videos, you know, when you haven't got a whole lot left to take, you're willing to give it all. I'm 50 years into this journey, and this last battle, which is my final. I'm done here. Was the hardest. It damn near broke me. It took everything I had to get out. And, you know, I'm out, but I'm still working on getting fully out. Like, it's over. I would have to agree to go back, and there's no way in hell I'm doing that. And that's what that little turtle represented. Being saved. and put into a new environment. Did you see how I found the turtle at the hotel, and then I picked that turtle up, brought it with me, drove it completely to another place, and sat it in a healthier, happier set of circumstances, a pond. And that's what's going to happen for me. I know it, and I've always known it. It's fated for me. Just like I always knew that this war, I was going to win it. I just... Have you ever fought something so hard and you just thought, I don't know if I'm going to make it? Because there are times, especially when you're doing it all alone, you know, in the physical, that you find yourself feeling that way. At least I did. I mean, I am on a human journey. And as I said before, you know, the sources of injury were not strangers to begin with. These were people that were family, were friends, were people I said I loved and cared about, and they supposedly loved and cared about me. And I had to get rid of all of it. It's like the first 50 years of my life were just to prune me and get me ready for the second 50 or more years. I'm like, God, how long you plan to have me living here? I mean, I haven't even started my purpose yet. But I guess I'm just not somebody who's gonna be somebody who settles for, and never was somebody who wanted to settle for sitting around at home and taking care of a house. That's just not me. I'm not that person. I've never been that person. I have my own dreams and desires and goals and things I want to chase and do at will. And I don't ask for anybody's, you know, permission for that. And I'm a person, and I'm very individual, and the only person I talk to, well, my father is a person to me. Very active player in my life. I talk to God, higher power, whatever that is, but for you, I call it God. I actually call it Dad. I call him Dad. Best dad I've ever had, hands down. But, you know, my human fathers in this lifetime, you know, I'm at a point where I can understand what happened. And I hold space and grace. In fact, I hold space and grace for all the stuff people have done to me. Even forgiveness. Sure do. Why? If you don't forgive, it's only you that hurts. Think of holding grudges and bitterness as like rocks, and you got a backpack on your back, and every singular thing you refuse to forgive somebody for, or you hold against a person, you're taking that physical stone and you're throwing it in the backpack on your back and giving yourself a backache and a headache and a heartache. And I'll tell you this much, the other person isn't thinking about it probably at all. Remember, in this world, in this life, the only life that really matters is your own. You want to change the world? Start by changing yourself. Best advice ever. You want kindness, be kinder. You want love, be more loving. Not to... everybody thinks that's an outward thing. It doesn't have to be. If you're not used to love and kindness being given to you, then you give it to you. I'm serious. Because you deserve it. And if it's been being withheld, don't hold that against those people. And how do you get around that when you really are used to doing that? It's a habit. Well, you've got to break that habit. Habits die hard, but they don't have to. It's reprogramming ourselves. First, you got to think, well, they're human too. They were little kids one time too. How can I hold space and grace for them? How can I get around this? Well, they probably went through similar things. Like my father, he was terribly abused growing up. No wonder that man threatened to kill me. He probably had his life threatened by his own father and stepfathers. Does it make it right? I didn't say that. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make it right. But it allows you that space to say, you're human. I'm aware, I see this. I see there's the space in you where you were not able to heal. And I've been there. I've been in that space, and I'm actually doing the work now. And because I can see that, I'm holding space and grace and forgiveness for you. It doesn't make it right, but it allows me capacity to heal and free myself from those rocks in my bag. And so you take the bag and you dump it all out. And you cut cords like never before. You release. Not out of bitterness, not out of anger, not out of hate or disdain or resignation. No. You release with love. Love for yourself, but also for this other person. Because if you're cutting cords with them, you're obviously making space between you and them. And do you really wish them ill will? And if you do, then let's go back to the beginning and let's talk again, because there's a disconnect. We forgive for ourselves, yes. How do we hold space for other people? By understanding in depth why. I used meditations. I was capable of bringing people from their grown adult stages down into childhood. I was capable of saying, okay, this person, place, whatever, my father, I'll just keep using him. My father as a child, I could visualize that. He probably went through blah, blah, blah. And therefore, I'm capable of holding that space. Does that mean he gets to come back just because I forgave him? Not for me. I've drawn a very clear line. But it also doesn't mean I sit around, think about bad things and hold things against him and speak ill will on his name either. Once you cut cords and you forgive, you should be able to release from in your heart. And that's real forgiveness right there. Not this other kind that people tend to do, to gloss over, bandage over things. Dad's coming out, meaning the sun. Because in this life, people, you know, you're not going to get through it unscathed. I'll just go back into this for a moment and say, the first person in any situation you should ever forgive is yourself. Why? Why is that necessary? Because it says you're an adult enough to claim responsibility or accountability for any part of it that you might hold. And you'll know if you do or don't through your conversations with your higher power. And you don't gloat. It's not something where you're gloating or sitting around and poking at this prickly bear or whatever. No. This is not done through ego. This is done through spirit. Very different. It doesn't feel the same. Typically there are tears. Typically there's a sense of release, a sense of shame, a sense of guilt, a sense of understanding, or wanting at least to understand self and patterns within self, and then doing what you can to work through them. I found my binaural beats are very, very helpful. Getting your chakras aligned are very, very helpful. Certain meditations towards certain woundings are extremely helpful. Frequencies are helpful. Affirmations are helpful. Mirror work is helpful. Talking with somebody only if you are not married and you've spoken with Divine about it, about this, outside of a professional. I mean, quite literally, I will just say this. One of the most valuable lessons that I have learned on this journey is that not everybody's clapping for you. In fact, most people are not. And you would be astounded to find out that a lot of the people you thought backed you aren't, and they're usually your friends and family. That's been my set of circumstances in my unconditional love story. And that hurt. That hurts to process. But, even in knowing that, I also know that it speaks volumes more about them than it ever will me. Period. I'm not perfect. I've owned my stuff, though. And I'm definitely not out here trying to keep people from shining. Amen. I actually know that the more people shine, the better off we are. But you have groups of people that just don't want that. Dragonfly. Spiritual growth. Dragonflies are metamorphosis and transformations, spiritual growth. The color was blue, which is emotion. So emotional growth, emotional intelligence, emotional spiritual growth. Sorry, it's so close today. I'm having to hold my phone because I'm right on the edge of this pond. Nevertheless. So, I'm somebody who you would call an omnivore. I've never been somebody who's excessively outgoing, but when I meet the right people, or I'm comfortable, or I'm in an environment that feels comfortable, or I'm within a passion that is comfortable to me, you can barely get me to be quiet. Omnivore. Yeah. A lot of people see me as quiet and mysterious, and to myself, and that would be true. Because the other part of this whole white butterfly, the other part of this, not everybody is clapping for you, is learning not to share everything. That was another great lesson. Yeah, learning not to share everything with everybody, or anything, actually. So, the moment I shut down the sharing of valuable information, things seem to ramp up some. But it's not that I quit talking, I just quit talking about things people, I guess, wanted to hear, or I quit giving reactions they wanted me to give. I call that my own personal growth right there. So, message. UPS truck going by. Confirmation. Horn honk. So, now that, and I'm getting ringing in my ear, this is, my ear most likely usually rings for DM, Divine Masculine, DF, Divine Feminine. So nurturing, creative, action-oriented, but I'm finding that they go to different people as well. It's very odd. But I had ringing just now. So it's 2026 and I'm still in the hotel, and I'm concluding gang stalking. Now I got the message that I have officially ended it. Like I said, like with that turtle, I was pulled out of one environment and I'm going to be put into another. Look. I love it. They're handsome. Very handsome. And though people might not want me to go because of my energy, they really are going to have to get over it. Because in this world, you know, you had their attention down there, My God, there's another goose down there. Look at this lone goose all the way down there just looking like, what the heck are you doing? So, quite like this little ruckus. There might be somewhat of a ruckus or there might not be. Depends if they even know. That, you know, the only reason I'm even bringing it up was because of the turtle. It's odd, but not odd. I thought it was very synchronistic and beautiful how that happened today. And now we just move on, right? I've got 2 mallard ducks now waddling their way this way. That's funny. Okay. So it's, you know, people may wonder, well, how the heck did you do that then? How did you manage to get it to stop? I don't think you ever get that to stop. That's what they're trying to get me to believe. I think we do, though. I think I'm gonna wake up one day and it's gonna be over. Like, gone. Where it came from is gonna go. Just like that. Finito. Because I know how this reality works. I know what I invite in, and I know what I kick out. And where your attention goes, energy flows. And if you strangulate something and it gets no attention, none, it has no other choice in our type of universe but to disappear. Period. And here's the thing too, like, a lot of the people who are or were in the spiritual war, it was all about the energy and they didn't care how they got it. It was either positive interactions and then it became negative interactions and even harmful interactions. And that's what I'm saying. You know, they'll do practically anything to get my attention. Not if I'm consciously aware, which I am, and I just, not today. Not today, Satan. And if you do that long enough, that energy dies out and vanishes. Sure does. Confirmation, right leg beginning to tingle. So, this world, like I said, it's not what it seems. I've always said to my clients, to friends, to family, to people, just in passing, people who've sat and talked with me, you can have, do, or be anything, as long as you believe. It's true. The thing is, for many people, they don't want to put forth the effort towards the believing because they're afraid to leave their comfort zones. Because there's, when it comes to the walk with, you know, something higher than yourself, you gotta make sacrifices. Is frequency. And if you want to be somebody who attracts in the lifestyle of the rich and famous, well, then you're gonna need to get into the right environment. But if you want to do it in a healthy way, because the way that just shot through my mind was really unhealthy. And I don't know. I've never been rich and famous, so I would think being wealthy requires a high frequency and a good understanding of money being an energy. And then having a good relationship with energy, period, to include money, but also love, relationships, and source. Some of the wealthiest people in the world have really deep bonds with something higher than themselves, and they practice that every day. And this is just an example. We're in a world where frequency matters, so, and that's huge in my love story. Why? It's an unconventional love story that happens to rotate a lot around the spiritual laws of the universe, healing in alternative ways, and trauma, the onset, who did it, why they did it, and how I managed to get out of it. The how is right above. We can't see our higher powers, but we can certainly feel them. Kind of like, well, I just got two examples. One was people who pass over for a moment and then come back. They claim to meet Jesus or Archangel or something, get information or something, and that does happen. Dragonfly confirmation. But you know, outside of, hold on, yeah, I have some minnows with me. I seen some glittery, like gems in the water, and come to find out they're little minnows with sun reflecting off their backs. Okay, that's really cool. I don't think I'm gonna, I don't know, you might. I don't know if you can see them. They're swimming around in there. Anyway, don't know that we'll see them, but where was I? Of course, I get talking about the minnows. Oh, abundance, raising the frequency. I gave the example of crossed over. And we can get that information too through meditation. Well, I do anyway. Well, some people see proof that through like dying and coming back to life. Others can see it through meditation. I have seen it that way. But the raising of frequency. Dragonfly. Hi, honey. Hi. Blue dragonfly. So, the raising of the frequency is imperative. Because I know we're like in this whole, we've shifted from 4D to 5D, and some people are in 20D. I mean, I'm making a horsey joke about this, but it's like everybody wants to be in the best world ever, better than everybody else, and I'm thinking to myself, oh Lord, just chill with that, will ya? And these aren't even really separate places. They're not state, places for going, really. I mean, they're frequencies, levels of frequencies. And what it basically is once you reach a level of frequency and others around you are not there, it's like they can't even really reach you anymore. And it's like they don't know you anymore, really. You tend to leave people behind when you do that. And that's what I'm saying when I was saying earlier, when you cut off the attention to something, that's one way to cut it out. But you could also raise yourself so high in frequency, you leave them behind in that way. And they try astral traveling, all these crazy techniques of peeping in. I could feel them pushing in on my energy through the mirror portals, reflective portals, through music, through monitoring spirits, animals, through my child, bugs even, dreams. And for me, they like to use the moon. Some pretty horrible stuff always happen right around the moon. Or it wouldn't matter. They use specific moons for specific rituals. One of the worst was near my birthday. I happened to be born on the Day of the Dead. And I am supported by that energy because I am born on the Day of the Dead, and have nothing but love and respect for that energy. And they tried to do, if you're into the occult or know of the word, it's dark occult magic on me. And I don't know a ton about this, but from my understanding it was graveyard magic or death magic, or maybe a combination of both, who knows. The minnows are back. And here's the thing, it deflected off of me, and there's somebody at the hotel who was doing just fine, who's now not doing just fine. I'm just gonna leave it in that way. And now, I don't know that those two things are combined. What I am permitting to say here is these forces will try to get my attention through the use of magics of all sorts, trying to make me sick, trying to make me fat, trying to make me tired, trying to make me stay awake, trying to make me not remember, trying to make me this, trying to make me that, and trying to siphon my energy, trying to this, that, the other. And I knew that all that was going on. I spent more time transmuting than I ever cared to. I have a triangle in the sky. And an arrow. The pyramids are coming to mind. And then a spearhead. I am Native American. And I have had a few lives in Egypt. One being Syrian. I wasn't even a human during one of them. Nevertheless, my unconventional love story started with me learning to connect with something higher, and that something higher taught me how to love myself. And then I began losing everything. All people, all jobs. I mean, I'm somebody with multiple, I've got degrees, multiple certifications in writing, and you name it. I've got spiritual understanding. I'm self-taught in many things. And I lost everything as if I didn't have any education or anything. Just everything was taken. And I know that that was part of the process. I had to lose everything so I could rebuild, but boy did it hurt. Especially when you haven't done any internal work or any work with God to try and understand why, and you try and place it all outward. To every person who's attacked me, in fact, I'll just strip that away and I'll say right now, to the person who started the gang stalking, or the peoples, I forgive you. And some of you didn't even know what you were signing up for, because you were equally as being mind controlled. At least one of you was. And that one person is a masculine, and that person knows who they are. And they're coming to the understanding now of who I really am to them. And I want you to know that it's alright. It's gonna be okay. I forgive you. I might not understand everything that happened, because that's the human side of me, and there's been zero communication in years. But God's a pretty good mediator. I don't hold it against you, and I don't want you to hold it against yourself. I hope you don't hold things against me, and that in life you do find a way through this, and that you can find a way to even heal and love yourself and learn the lessons you should for you, not anybody else. And I'll just say here, if I hurt you in that last conversation, I apologize. Okay. Little black and orange fish just went by. Talk about beautiful little different type of fish. So it wasn't just a goldfish, it was a black and goldfish. So, as I said, I'm not a bad person, and I wouldn't want anybody to hold themselves so utterly accountable for things that they destroy their lives. That's silly. But taking accountability is important. And then just being open to moving forward in your world. Because this is just a blip before something else happens. And it's usually gonna piggyback right off of what we're talking about here. Military helicopter. I wouldn't know. I never really got to meet either one of my any divine masculine sent my way. I never really got to meet them, and that's okay. I think everything happens as it should. I'm not somebody that's gonna hold it against anybody. But I will say this. I'm not the same person either. So hopefully people, even in knowing this information, don't think that they can come trying to start or stir anything up. That'll get shut down. The gang stalking ended because I didn't quit. And I believed from the start that I would make it. You know, your perspective matters. How you think about this world. For example, let's talk about a car accident. And let's put several people in it, several different cars pile up maybe. Let's say you have those last like 5 to 10 seconds prior to get out. Any final thoughts? What would you think? No, it shouldn't be, oh my God, I'm kissing my ass goodbye. It should be, I'm gonna make it. Or God, make sure I make it. Or get me home to my kids, get me home to my wife. Because when you put that out there and you put that out there with some sort of certainty, bingo. The universe hears that, and somehow final destination stuff starts happening to align with that wish. I kid you not. Soul contracts matter too. When I came into that, to the gang stalking, I knew I wasn't supposed to have that happen. It wasn't part of my journey, not that I was aware of. But what I was aware of was I was fated for certain things in life. And so immediately, I just said, I'm fated to win this. Why? Because I'm fated for this other stuff. So obviously, I'm getting through this. Period. And I just clung to that. Even on my hardest days. That. Right there got me through. And just like that perspective right before the accident will be the reason why you open your eyes in some hospital room. Maybe a week later, maybe you have a concussion, who knows? Oh, ma'am or sir, well, you just have a broken ankle or whatever, or lacerations, or... But then you find out everybody else that was in that accident, they passed away. In the other cars. What does that mean? Not enough people have positive attitudes. Not enough people use their thoughts projected outward to create their reality on a day-to-day basis. I do. And I'm learning to. And I started it with my healing, removal of blocks so I could get to my highest timeline. And I believe you can do it too. I'm here to show you if I can do it, so can you. Next time I come, I'm not even going to do my hair, my makeup. I got some blush on, but I'm not doing none of it. I'm going to let you see what I happen to look like without it all done up. I won't even wear jewelry. Promise. Look, we got a little visitor.
Look at you. Aren't you beautiful? Hi, handsome. I love you. You saying hi to everybody? Thank you.
So, if you take anything out of today, know it starts with you. It starts with self-love and that work within you. 2, forgiveness is valuable. The soul is holding space and grace and understanding why do we forgive and how do I get to a place of forgiveness that really sticks. 3, forgive yourself first before you forgive other people. That should be number 1. And 4, perspective is everything. It's winning is half the battle, G.I. Joe. I mean, no joke, folks. If you can see it up here, and you can say it out your mouth, or write it on a piece of paper, and you can do this daily, and feel it, you're going to manifest that. Facts. Facts. We're an hour in. I'm not going to hold you much longer. It's like a teacher holding class over, and I'm not that teacher. I love you. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday and know that you matter in this world, okay? Because you do. And I'll be back with more on my unconventional love story, life story, my path with God. If not tomorrow, the next, but most likely tomorrow. Till then, you take care. May blessings flow to you and through you, and always.